But look, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. For 90 bucks, this scope is pretty impressive. Still under a second. Hey guys, Akimbo Chris with Crusader Armory TV. And today guys, we're going to be taking a look at one of the cheapest LPVOs on Amazon. Today I have with me the Triton Ronin 1:6 second focal plane LPVO. Now, if you guys ever browse on Amazon for gun accessories, you have probably seen this brand. I know they sell a lot on Amazon, and these things are coming in at a crazy low price tag for an LPVO. These things are running on Amazon under 100 bucks. I've been really curious about them. I've seen them before. They look like they're high quality. They seem to have pretty good reviews, so I've always wondered, how much scope do you actually get for 90 bucks? So we've actually got one in, and today we're gonna be taking a look at it, taking it out to the range and testing it to see what you get for 90 bucks. We understand that gun accessories can be very, very expensive. Not everybody has a whole bunch of money to throw at it, and there are people who are looking for more affordable options on the market, but we also don't want you guys spending your money on garbage. So today we're gonna be taking a look at the Triton Ronin 1:6 and seeing, is it fire or is it trash? Let's go ahead and unbox this thing, take a look at it, slap her on a firearm, and then take her out to the range to see what the real world performance looks like. Here's your packaging. This is the Triton Ronin, once again, 1:6, so nothing crazy. Pretty standard for an LPVO. I think the packaging looks really nice. All right, so we're gonna cut the top tab. See if she just slides on out. Oh, we got a bottom tab too, so we're gonna cut the top tab and the bottom tab. Slide her on out. Take the cover off and check out the scope. So there's the box. Let's check her out. Let's see what you're getting on Amazon for 90 bucks. All you Amazon warriors out there, you budget kings, cameraman's friends. All right, so we got our scope. We'll look at that here in just a second. Looks like you got your manual, a few tools, battery, cloth to clean the lens. So you're getting all that in there as well. And then you also get a scope rings, or a scope mount, a cantilever mount actually. So let's get this scope out and see what she looks like. All right, so there's your scope. Let's test out the magnification. Let's see how smooth it is. Not bad, not bad. Not quite as smooth as like something like the Zerotech scope. The Zerotech scope's like 700 bucks, but it's definitely not bad. I'm not gonna lie, bro. That ain't bad at all. The glass is not bad. I actually do really like the reticle in this thing. That reticle is nice. I'll put kind of a picture up on the screen or video so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. It does also have an illuminated reticle. The eye relief is not great, but I mean, again, it's a $90 scope. But we'll have to put on a rifle and really judge it then on, you know, what we think about it. But again, you have your illumination settings here. You have turret caps to protect your turrets and prevent from knocking off your zero, so that's great. Overall, the construction feels really solid. No complaints with the construction of the thing, and it is a very small scope. It's like a mini scope. This is very, very small compared to even other 1:6s on the market. Matter of fact, so just for size reference, so you guys can see the difference in the size of these scopes. That's a Sightmark Presidio 1:6, and this is the Ronin 1:6 LPVO. So this one's actually like very, very small, very lightweight. So I know some people are looking for that on their builds. So maybe if that's what you're looking for, maybe this is something that you take a look at. But there's definitely a size difference, and that's probably why there's a difference in eye relief, because usually the smaller scopes, the eye relief is not going to be as good. All right, let's get this thing mounted up on a gun and see what she looks like. All right, guys, so now we're out here on the range with the PSA Sabre, with the Triton LPVO. So just again, one thing I really want to point out is this scope looks really, really nice, really, really aesthetic for a $90 scope. A lot of budget-oriented optics, scopes, things like that, they just look really cheap, and that's a turn away for a lot of people. You don't want to go to the range looking like a brokey. But this scope actually looks pretty good, and I really like the form factor of it. That's going to be the biggest thing for me. Is this is probably the smallest LPVO I have. We're going to be shooting with this thing. We're probably going to put 100, 120 rounds to it today just to get an overall first impressions of it. And we'll be going over each aspect of the scope, how it's performing. Eye relief, clarity, how's the magnification on it, and even doing a little bit of durability testing to make sure she holds zero under realistic circumstances. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get to the first part of this thing and zero her in. We need to get a rough zero, so we're going to zero her about 35 yards, which is pretty typical for a 5.56 combat zero, and see how it goes. So let's start out with that process. Getting behind the scope for the first time. We're on 6X. Wow. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. For 90 bucks, this scope is pretty impressive. The glass is super clear. I would say it's even better than that Sightmark Presidio that we reviewed on the channel. Being out here in like daylight, you know, bright lit environment. The eye relief is not as bad as I thought it was just looking at it, you know, off the gun. Obviously, with it being in the right position on the gun now, with my head in the right position, and with it being lit out here, the eye relief's really not bad at all, even on 6X. So, especially taking consideration, again, this is a smaller form factor scope, so eye relief is gonna be something that you do sacrifice a little bit, but very, very usable. And I love the reticle in this thing. Let's zero her, see where she's at, get her dialed in. Close. She's close. Looks like she's just a little bit high left. She's very, very close. All right, so got your turret here. You are gonna have capped turrets. It looks like the adjustments are gonna be half an inch at 100 yards. Let's go down 4 clicks. I think that might be pretty accurate. And then we wanna go right just a little bit. So we're gonna dial her in. And we'll go right 3 clicks, see where that's at. How many rounds does it take to zero a $90 Amazon LPVO? Let's find out. 1. See, I'm pretty sure I hit dead center on that target. I just need to make sure. Bullseye. Boom. Hey, we did it in 2 rounds, bro. 35 yard zero in 2 rounds. Zeroing process was easy. Turrets felt good. Turret caps feel solid. You get audible clicks, and they're going to be about half an MOA at 100 yards, so about half an inch. Got it dialed in, 2 shots. So now let's go ahead and see what kind of groups we can put down on paper with this rifle, with this setup, at about 50 yards. All right, group number 1. Like, a lot of times I struggle trying to see the small, like, dots in the middle. That cross reticle just seemed very, very easy to line up. Group 1 was the best, group 2, group 3. You know, as far as, you know, first impressions, reticle's definitely my favorite thing. Glass clarity is not an issue. Eye relief is pretty good. I didn't have any issues getting behind the scope at any magnification, but what I will say is with a smaller form factor scope, it's not gonna be as good as like a full size, you know, LPVO, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's absolutely usable. I mean, I really do like that scope. The clarity is really, really good for a $90 scope. Absolutely blowing me away. All right, guys, so now what I'm gonna do to really try to stretch the legs on the scope is I got this super, super small target. As you guys can see, it's no bigger than my palm, very, very small. So I'm actually gonna place this here on the very center, right there, to give me a point of aim. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to as far as we can shoot out here, which is probably somewhere around 65 to 70 yards. And I'm going to see out of 10 shots, how many shots I can place within this black circle with that 1x6 LPVO, just to really stretch the magnification since we got such a small target here, and really see how well we can group with it. All right, so let's see how many shots I can put on the black target down there. This is really going to be testing me here with the 1x6, but I mean, I can see it pretty clearly. I just got to keep the gun steady enough. So let's see how I do. I think that looked pretty good. I think they were all in the black. 70 yards-ish, 65, 70-ish yards. We measured it out on that small black circle. It's about as far as we can shoot out here. So trying to push it to its limits. It's going to be a testament to the glass clarity, the magnification, and the reticle design. Yeah, we got one just off to the right, but it's a line break, so I'd count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's probably one inside of another one there, but again, guys, not bad at all. Super small target, about 70-ish yards on that target. I'm impressed. $90 scope, guys. Again, back in the day, you go to buy an LPVO, if you're paying $90 for it, it's some Chinese airsoft piece of garbage. Now you can actually get a scope that will work on your 5.56 rifle pretty accurately too for under $100. And that's pretty crazy, because I mean, just comparing that to some of the budget scopes I've seen at, you know, $300, comparing it to something like a Vortex Strike Eagle. The differences between the two, at least as far as like glass clarity, you know, reticle, magnification, are very, very minimal. Durability, I don't know, we'll have to see, but you know, are you gonna get huge performance gains between the two? Probably not. So if you're really, really pinching pennies and you're trying to build out a budget GPR build or a budget recce rifle, that's a lightweight scope that is definitely not gonna break the bank. And so far, I'm super impressed with it. So, all right guys, so now what we're gonna test is close range performance on the Triton Ronin 1x6. So we're going to be using the 1x magnification setting, because I know that's what a lot of people are concerned about when it comes to LPVOs, is with some scopes 1x is not very optimal for engaging at close quarters. This scope I think is going to do really well because of the reticle, and again, that cross, the size of it, it makes it very easy to put it on target. But what we're going to do is we're going to be doing some draw to fire drills. So timer's going to go off. We'll hear the beep, boom, and we're going to hit the bear one time and see how quick we can do a one-shot draw to fire. This will kind of test the 1x magnification. Let's test it out. Let's see how it goes, and you guys can make the judgments whether it fits the bill for what you need or not.
1.3.
All right, 1.3, quick.
Stand by.
All right.
0.7.
0.7.
That's fast.
Yeah, that's pretty quick for an LPVO.
Yeah, for an LPVO, that's red dot territory.
Yeah, and with the 1X, it's pretty easy to keep both my eyes open. I don't feel myself like, you know, trying to focus too hard with my dominant eye. So it's a good sign. That means the eye relief is pretty optimal at 1X.
9.
Still under a second.
I mean, yeah, you're getting average like right at under a second.
Yeah, and this is at about 20 yards.
0.7.
Look, we're also relying on cameraman's brain power here to look at the clock as soon as the shot goes off. I'm pretty sure that was a 0.5.
Could have been.
I'm pretty sure it's a 0.5. Here, I'm gonna start from a high ready this time.
All right. 1.5. That's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's still pretty good. Let's do it again.
1.3. You're getting faster.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely quick for an LPVO, and definitely quick for a $90 LPVO. $90 LPVO punching well above its price tag. I mean, this is punching up there, in my opinion, with the $200, $250 LPVOs. Not just saying that. Again, there's always these people who just, you know, claim you're shilling, claim this, claim that. Guys, you guys see the testing. We're not manipulating the testing. You see it. And these are tests I'd run any scope through to see if I want to run it or not. This is going to be perfect for something like a GPR build, recce rifle build, something that needs to stay lightweight, but you still need that extra magnification. Because as you guys can see, no problem hitting that small target here at 20 yards from a draw to fire with 1x magnification. The reticle on this thing just makes it super easy. I really like the reticle design on this particular model. Obviously, they've got different reticles. This one is really, really nice. I think this is probably gonna be the one to go with. We were able to get under a second draw to fire, and even from a high ready, 1.5 seconds, that's not bad. Pretty good for a $90 LPVO at 1x performance.
That's getting into red dot territory with like how fast you can get.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest benefits to a second focal plane scope, guys, especially on an AR build. If you want something that you can still manage that close range engagement with an LPVO, you definitely probably want to go second focal plane. That's something that I learned with my SIG MCX Spear LT that we took out to that competition we just did recently. That is a first focal plane 1:10 scope. So the reticle at 1x is super small, so it's much harder to get it lined up on that target. you know, your mind's got to process a lot more to get it lined up on that target quickly. With this, you got a super big reticle. Reticle always stays the same size, so much better for, you know, quick target acquisition. However, first focal plane's always going to be better for precision. Let's move on to the durability testing and see how she holds up. Doing some durability testing, we are going to do this realistically. Again, this is a $90 scope, and I like it so much I really don't want to mess it up because I want to kind of keep it. So we're just going to do some realistic testing, like situations you would probably find yourself in knocking the scope around. So got it laid up against the car. One thing that I almost always do with setting my guns up is they fall over. So we got some gravel and we're going to kick her over. Yeah, that hurt. She did fall on the top turret. Scratched a little bit there. Oh, we did get a scratch there as well. Guys, again, I'm not gonna drag this thing behind my truck, okay? If you guys wanna do that, that's fine. You buy it and you go do it. All right. Jesus, man. Okay, fell there. Scratched a little bit, nothing crazy. Look, we even got an M300 clone on here. See how well that holds up. Link in the pinned comments. All right, you ready?
Ready.
Number 3. Ooh,
Oh,
that one hurt me like a motherfucker.
that sounded like an impact.
Oh, shit. Oh, the Whisper Strike can's doing pretty good. Let's see, is she loose? She's not loose. Not loose in the mount. I'll check the glass. I'm pretty sure she'll probably be okay. Yeah, glass looks good. No scratches, nothing like that. Should be straight. Drop it from chest height and just see how it holds up.
Ready.
Lord, please. Oof.
That sounded pricey.
All right, so we've jolted it around quite a bit. Has not loosened up in the mount. Everything feels pretty good. Nothing seems like it's loosened up. Scope looks good. All right, let's go see if she held 0. Got her here at about 50 yards. I'm gonna shoot that orange target down there. All right, let's check that. It looks like it's to the right. Looks like the 0 is slightly to the right, which we did switch ammo. We are shooting Winchester white box, which could be part of it as well. But yeah, it looks like the group did go to the right a little bit. So looks like our 0 did shift right after a few falls. So that could be caused by the mount. That could be caused by us dropping it on the turrets. I don't know. We've had the same effect when we tested the Zero Tech scope, which is like an $800 scope, where when we dropped it pretty hard on the turrets, it shifted. So this seems to be a common thing with LPVOs when you knock them over, when you drop them with your rifle scopes, that we've seen across multiple guns that we've tested. It could also be the mount. That is a mount that comes with the gun. Maybe if you buy a little bit more of a secure mount, it may not shift at all. But it did shift right just slightly. So I'm going to shift her back left and just make sure that she's holding 0 now. See what she did. I think that one looked closer on paper. Looks like these right here with the Winchester white box. So she looks like she's holding. Again, could have been the ammo adjustment, could have been us slightly dropping it, but again, from testing the other scopes that we've definitely seen 0 changes on, even when we didn't shift ammo from dropping them, I would guess it may have slightly shifted in the mount a little bit or something like that. I'm not really good at torquing my stuff down. Guilty as charged. So not making excuses though. Again, I would say with any LPVO that you run, if you drop it really hard, takes a hard impact, make sure you check 0. I've seen it 1,000 times, and I'm pretty sure Not John Lovell in the last video, when you guys seen me in that last drill and I went down to 200 and I was missing that silhouette at 200, I heard that Not John Lovell took my rifle over, so probably knocked my 0 off a little bit. So far, I'm pretty happy with it, especially for 90 bucks. Not bad at all.
I'm pretty happy with it as well.
Probably the perfect little micro compact budget scope for an AR-15.
Yeah.
Something like a PSA rifle. You just bought a PSA rifle, you want to put a scope on it, you don't have $400 to spend. That's a really nice compact scope, and you're saving a lot of weight, which is a big deal for me now after losing that last competition. Go check it out. It's on the channel, guys. Recce rifle competition. All right, now I'm just gonna take a few shots at the steel down range. Just have a little bit of fun with her. Jesus. That bit smacks. Oh, that makes me nervous. That's fun. Shout out to Whisper Strike, guys. This can is so quiet. It makes the impact down range sound crazy.
That sounded wicked.
It sounds pretty crazy for a 5.56. As you guys can see, no issues making impact. The target was moving a little bit, so there's a few times it moved right out of my line of fire. But not bad at all. I really like the scope. Not gonna lie, guys. This is probably something I'll run on one of my builds. It's nice, especially good for like a GPR setup. For sure. All right, guys, so we're back from the range, and we're going to close it out with our final thoughts on the Triton Ronin 1-6. Is it fire or is it trash? I would say for the price point that this thing's coming in at 80 bucks on Amazon with Prime shipping, it's really hard for me not to recommend this thing. It did everything that I wanted it to do for a simple 1-6 LPVO, and it seems to hold up fairly well. We put about 120 rounds to this thing for this video, and we didn't have really any issues with it whatsoever, and I really didn't even have many complaints with it. I would say this scope really does have a few good things going for it. Number one, obviously being the price and the accessibility of these things, being able to get them with Prime shipping. Number two, being the form factor of it. I really like how compact it is and how much weight you're saving with a scope like this. Weight can definitely weigh you down, especially if you're running with a rifle, moving with a rifle, and this compact scope probably weighs no more than your standard EOTech magnifier combo. The third thing really going for this particular scope is the reticle design. I really like the reticle design on this particular model because I feel like it makes the scope very versatile. As you guys saw, we were able to hit shots at close range pretty quickly from a draw to fire drill, but we were also able to stretch this thing out as far as we could and still put shots on paper where we wanted to put them on paper. So not only is it good for close quarters engagements, but it was also pretty good for, you know, stretching it out at longer range precision. And I say longer range because we're only able to stretch it to 70 yards, but that's just a limitation of the range that we're shooting at for this video. So with that being said, it's really hard for me not to recommend this scope. It's going to do everything that you need it to do, and it's going to do it on a budget. Obviously, this is a budget-oriented scope, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is going to be as good as your higher-end Vortex scopes or your Leupold's or your Night Force scopes. Obviously, this is not a Triton, right? This is a Triton. And with that being said, you know, the biggest downside to probably buying this scope is just going to be overall reputation. No one's really tested these thoroughly enough to say that they're duty ready. I wouldn't say that I'm confident enough to say it's duty ready because I only have 120 rounds to it. Overall, it just doesn't have the same amount of testing or the reputation that a lot of those other companies are going to have, like Vortex, Leupold, Triton. So with that being said, is it a duty rated scope? I couldn't tell you. This is just a sample size 1 of 1, and that's really what's going to come into play is things like quality control. Since they aren't like a huge company, they are like a newer company. Those are the things that are really going to come into play when you're looking at purchasing one of these scopes. That may be a downside. Now, with that being said, this sample that we have here, it is a sample 1 of 1, but this one performed very, very well. Seemed pretty durable. We did do the drop test on it. It did shift slightly right, but that seems to be a common occurrence with every LPVO that we've tested on the channel so far. We've tested 3 or 4 different scopes on the channel, and when they take a really high impact fall, especially if they hit a turret or something like that, it does seem like they will shift slightly. Now, the biggest thing is making sure that they hold 0 after they shift, right? Making sure that the internal components on the scope didn't break. And when we readjusted it, it seemed like it held 0 no problem, and we will be doing further testing on the scope because this is not the last time you will see this scope on the channel. We'll probably feature on some other builds and things like that, so we will see what the longer lifespan looks like on the scope. But honestly, I don't have any doubts that it will work. This technology is fairly simple. LPVOs have been around for a long time, and just like red dots, even the cheaper stuff nowadays seems like it's going to work for the majority of people's use cases out there. So with that being said, I'm really just happy that the market is shifting and that there's becoming more affordable budget options that are actually viable for sticking on a, real firearm. A lot of times back in the day, you look at things in this price range and it was all oriented towards airsoft, and none of it really held zero on a real firearm. But I can confidently say the Triton Ronin 1-6 today held zero on this 5.56 rifle, no problem, and I don't think that you would have any issues mounting this on your budget AR-15, using it for, target shooting, maybe a varmint hunting rifle, a sporting rifle, whatever the case may be. For those use cases, I don't think you're going to have any issues or be disappointed with this scope. So I would say overall, taking into consideration this thing is $80, it's pretty fire. Glass is pretty clear. Eye relief is not bad at all, and it's got a really solid reticle in there that's going to make the scope very, very versatile. Plus, it's a small form factor scope. With that being said, guys, I think I would say for 80 bucks, given that the QC is consistent, I don't know, again, this is sample size 1 of 1, these are definitely worth the $80. So if you're on a budget, you're pinching pennies, or maybe you're just, building out a PSA rifle and you want a cheap scope to stick on the rifle, this is probably the bare minimum of what I'd go. Look at the Triton or Monstrum scopes. I'm pretty sure they're the same company. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Monstrum owns Triton. And from everything I can tell about the scopes from those two companies, they seem pretty solid and seem like they'll hold up, again, for most everyday civilian use. Are they duty rated? Are they military grade? Probably not, but for most everyday civilian use, I think you will be A-okay. It's kind of my overall review on the Triton Ronin 1-6. If you guys want to check this out on Amazon yourself, we will have a link in the pinned comments below, so please make sure to go check that out. So that's it for the video today, guys. Please make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Comment below on what you think about the Triton scopes, if you ever ran one, or the Monstrum scopes, and let us know if you haven't ran one, if you would ever consider running one on one of your builds. We care about what you think, and we need your help to stay in the algorithm because YouTube hates gun content. So also, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content, and we will be back at it again next week. So that's it for this week's video, guys. I will see you guys next time, and I'm out. Peace.